Errors. Then a $60 profit vanished. My fourth straight loss. Day 8 was a test.
Hello everyone, and welcome to day 8 of my journey. Today kicked off with my data structures and algorithms lecture. We started with a quick review of stacks, covering the fundamental operations: push, adding an element; pop, removing an element; and seek, viewing the top element. From there, we moved on to tackling stack-based problems. The first one was the nearest smaller element to the left. The challenge is, for every element in an array, we have to find the closest element on its left side that is smaller. If no such element exists, we return -1 for that position. Before diving into that one, however, I challenged myself with a harder problem from LeETCode: count of smaller numbers after self. My initial approach kept running into time limit exceeded (TLE) errors on some test cases. It was frustrating, so I consulted an AI to understand a more optimal, efficient approach, and finally got it to pass. After that, I returned to this nearest smaller element problem and understood its stack-based approach. Next up was a classic but tricky question: minute stack. This one requires you to design a stack that supports all standard operations plus retrieving the minimum element in constant time. It required a lot of understanding, but after breaking it down, we tackled it. With a clearer picture in my mind, I moved to implementation, coding the solutions on LeETCode and Geeks for Geeks. As usual, my first attempt at one of the problems hit a TLE error, failing just a few test cases. I had to get into the depth of it, rethink the logic, and optimize my code. Finally, I rewrote it, and it was successfully submitted. After finishing the lecture problems, I took on one more easy-level question. The concept was to clear digits from a string. It was a great stack problem. For example, if you have the string CD34, when you remove the digit 3, you must also remove the non-digit character to its left, which is D. This leaves C4. Then, removing for also means removing C, leaving an empty string. I solved it pretty quickly. In total, I solved for questions on stacks today. I usually only get through 2, so this felt like a major win. You can see the submission results running in the next few screenshots. Next up was my daily trading session. I got set up as usual, trading terminal open, Forex Factory checked for news, and my bias chart, XAU a USD, gold, loaded. But today, my Wi-Fi was completely against me. I entered a trade, and almost immediately, my connection started dropping every minute or two. I was stuck mid-trade. While I was disconnected, the trade made a perfect move and hit my $60 profit target. But I couldn't book it. By the time the internet finally came back, I was already at an $11 loss. I stuck to my bearish bias, hoping for the downtrend to continue, but the market just started consolidating. Then, it reversed, went straight up, and hunted my stop loss. I was stopped out for a $52 loss. That marks a 4-day losing streak. I have not won a single trade since starting this $5,000 account. For consecutive losses. It's excruciating to feel like not a single trade is going in my direction. My account is now down to $4,854, about $150 in the red. But I will come back. I'm going to enhance my trading plan and make sure I get those profits back. Moving on, it was time for my daily language practice. Today was Spanish, and I extended my streak to day 293. I learned new vocabulary like barbos, trees, and oraciones, sentences, but the session was mostly a heavy deep dive into Spanish grammar. We focused on when and why to use certain words, like the nuances between va, voy, a verb form meaning goes or the formal you go, and ustedes, the pronoun for you all. I can say that español is muy interesante y fácil, estudio español is muy emocionante. The main focus was a review of verb conjugations to build proper oraciones. We covered the essential tenses, past, present, present continuous, and future. It was a very grammar-intensive session, but it's essential for grasping the rules to build flowing, correct sentences. Next was machine learning. Before I move on to logistic regression, I decided to build a stronger core understanding of linear regression. I used an AI as my tutor, asking it to explain the basic concepts and the code in more detail. We focused on the Foggy Hill analogy. I explained what I understood from it, and then I asked the AI to point out where I was lagging. It was a great back-and-forth conversation, with it explaining concepts and me asking follow-up questions. I took that whole analogy and made detailed notes. The new thing that really clicked for me is that the gradient function doesn't just tell you the direction to move down the hill, it also tells you the slope at your current position, which is a measure of your current error. This is where it all came together. The gradient descent function is the hiker, or the main engine. The gradient tells the hiker what the slope is and which direction to go. Based on that information, the gradient descent algorithm uses the learning rate, alpha, to decide the size of the step to take, and the iterations determine how many steps to take. The whole Foggy Hill story finally makes complete sense, and my grasp of the linear regression code is much clearer. After ML, I switched gears for my daily reading session, getting through 10 pages of Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins.
Never forget to train your fucking mind. In life, a lot of us work our fucking ass off, trying to get to a better place, a place that makes us feel better about ourselves. Some people want to do ultra races. They're starting to PR during training. Some people want to be a lawyer or a medical student, so they're taking these practice tests, and they're fucking crushing the practice tests. But guess what happens? Once you get to the actual fucking event, your mind isn't ready. Your mind's not prepared. You've been studying, you've been training, you've been working out, but your mind's not prepared. Story for you. When I was 19 years old, I was going through the Air Force trying to be a pararescueman. I was doing push-ups, sit-ups, swimming. I was doing all this shit, knocking out of the park. One of the best in the class. But the second a fucking obstacle got in my fucking way, I wasn't prepared for it mentally. I was a beast. All I was doing was I was training a bigger, stronger, faster quitter. You gotta train your fucking mind for all obstacles that might get in your way.
Next up was my daily quant prep. I'm currently focused on the core concepts of differentiation, like why do we even use derivatives? I'm practicing finding derivatives using the first principle method. My focus has been on trigonometric functions because that's an area where I'm weak. This involves using a lot of trigonometric identities. I worked through several problems, including some higher-order thinking skills questions. Now that I've grasped the concept, I'm ready to tackle the full exercise set tomorrow to push my quant journey forward. And finally, to close out the day, I hit the gym for a push day. The workout consisted of 2 sets of incline chest press, followed by 2 sets of incline barbell press. After that, I moved on to 2 sets of rear delt flies, 2 sets of single-hand cable lateral raises, and finished with 1 set of the machine shoulder press. And that is a wrap for day 8. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow for day 9.
4 days, 4 losses. Today's disconnect, that hurt, but a loss is only a loss if you don't learn.